Ohayo.
Ohayo. Welcome to the So Japanese podcast, a podcast where we discuss all things Japan. My name is John.
My name is Ryusuke.
Welcome to our podcast. Today's topic is trains.
Trains in Japan.
One of the more popular things to see in Japan.
I think so.
I'm sure everyone's seen videos of rush hour in Tokyo. The train's packed.
Yeah.
And they have those employees where they like
pushing people inside, squeezing
them in like a can of sardines.
Yep.
So trains. So there's many different types of trains in Japan. We have obviously the more famous, popular one, the Shinkansen.
Yeah, the bread train.
The what train?
Bread.
Why is it called the bread train?
People call bread train because it looks like a bread. I mean, bullet. Like a gun? Bread?
A bullet? Yeah.
Yeah, bullet.
Bullet train.
Sorry.
That was bread train.
No.
A bullet train, yes. The bullet train, because it's fast.
Yeah.
And it's like aerodynamic. It's like a cone-shaped nose. And then obviously we'll talk about the regular trains.
Yep.
So let's start with the regular trains.
Okay.
So there's many companies that offer trains in Japan.
Yeah, like private companies.
So there's JR, the Japan Rail.
But JR is actually
the national, the national train system. And then you also have smaller private train companies that run trains in different prefectures. In Japan. So let's talk about the different speeds of the train. Just in case, like if you wanted to go somewhere and then you accidentally you took the local train that will stop at every station, right?
Every station, and slow. It's cheaper.
It's slow. Yeah, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But if you want to go somewhere faster, you might take, there's the rapid train, express, and the limited express. And it's also faster, and then they skip
They skip the station. They only stop like a big one. That's express. Yeah.
And then you have under the JR umbrella, you have the Super Express, which is
Shinkansen.
The Shinkansen.
Yeah.
The Shinkansen's really fun.
I used couple years ago when I went back, and I bought JR Pass.
Yeah, the JR Pass is definitely worth it.
Yeah, it's only for foreigner people.
Foreigners, temporary visitors. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah.
So you have to be a tourist.
Exactly.
Tourist, or like you don't live there.
I don't live there, but because they changed the law, before I could buy a JR Pass, even though I was Japanese.
Okay.
Because I was living outside of Japan. But now they changed the law. So the Japanese citizen, if you live outside of Japan over 10 years, and then you're allowed to buy.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know how many Japanese listeners here, and then who lives abroad country. Maybe you should check like if you're allowed to buy or no. But you should know if you're outside of Japan over 10 years or no, right? Yeah. But yeah, all the foreigners, again, like John said, if you're a visitor, you have visitor visa, which means you're allowed. Yeah.
You should definitely take advantage of it. Not only is it cheaper, it's just more convenient. You don't want to spend your limited vacation time riding trains, right?
Yeah.
You want to just go to the city.
Yeah. Maybe I want to explain how can you buy it a little bit.
Sure.
So normally every country has like Japanese travel agent.
Travel agent.
So if you go there, then you tell them like I want to buy JR pass. So you can buy in your country, but then you get some special ticket like a paper. Then when you arrive in Japan, then you get a stamp, which is visa stamp. You must have that stamp. And then after that, you go to the station, like any Shinkansen station, JR station. Then you show your passport. Then you show the paper. That's the proof. Then finally, you can get the ticket.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure all this process is very important because you pay ahead in your country. But then after that, if you don't have all those proof, then you're not allowed to have it. So you need to make sure that like you have that.
And the JR passes, you can buy a 7-day one, a 14-day one, and a 21-day one.
What's the price range?
Roughly for the 7-day one, $400 US. The 14-day one, $650 US. And the 21-day is about $800 US. And for children, it's about half the price.
Cool. It sounds expensive.
Yeah, it sounds expensive, I suppose.
But it definitely worth it because for one way from Tokyo to Osaka, if you take the Shinkansen, and it's gonna cost you it's almost 200 bucks.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's just one way.
So a round trip ticket from Osaka to Tokyo.
It's already 400 bucks.
Exactly.
Yeah, that means, and because JR pass, you can use any JR train, or some JR has bus.
Yeah.
And I remember I went to Hiroshima, and then Hiroshima has small island called Miyajima.
And the boat, right?
And that's the boat owned by JR. So that's also free.
And it's all you can ride.
All you can ride.
You just have to reserve the ticket.
Reserve, or if you just want to hop in, then you basically show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you get your seat by yourself. But for Shinkansen, I would definitely recommend you reserve your seat. And this is also, you need to make sure there's 3 different Shinkansen. One is what's that called? Hikari, Nozomi, Hikari, and Kodama.
Yeah.
Nozomi is the fastest one.
The fastest one, yeah.
You cannot ride
with the JR pass, unfortunately. No.
You can ride Hikari or Nozomi.
But it's still fast.
Still way fast. And you can even book the green, green seat?
Yeah, so the prices that I listed, that was for the...
Hikari.
It's for the Hikari, but it was for the green seats. So first class seats.
Yeah.
They call their first class tickets green seats. If you just want the ordinary seats, it's about 30% cheaper. The green seats just mean that it's a little bit more spacious. I think instead of 6 seats, there's only 4 maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the different seat types for the JR pass. For the Shinkansen, it's ordinary, just the regular train, and the green, which is the first class tickets. Yeah.
And then from Tokyo to Osaka, it only takes 2 hours and 22 minutes. If they say 2 hours, 22 minutes, that means they go in 2 hours, 22 minutes. If there's no like instance or like any problem. Yeah.
I remember my friends, I've never done it because I'm not crazy, but they took local trains from Osaka to Tokyo.
How long?
I think it's like 12 hours.
Right.
But it's like a fraction of the price.
It's way cheap.
Yeah, you got to take local trains. I mean, I think they just did it for fun, but...
Yeah, I mean, so it's up to you, right? Because like if you want to stop like several countryside or whatever, and you want to see the view from the train. Of course, like the local one or like cheaper one, you have more time to explore in Japan.
Speaking of seeing the sights, one of the best views of Mount Fuji is actually from the windows of the Shinkansen. And a little bit of a tip is that if you want to see the view from the Shinkansen, if you want to see Mount Fuji, either from Osaka to Tokyo or Tokyo to Osaka, always choose seat E. That's the window seat. So D and E, those two seats are by the window, and you can see Mount Fuji.
Both way?
Both ways, because the train doesn't turn around.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
yeah. So
makes sense.
Yeah, and if you're not sure when you book the ticket at the ticket office, tell them Yamagawa.
So they know.
Yeah, cool. Yama's mountain.
Yeah.
So mountainside view.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's a really good hint. Because if you book seat A, you'll be jealous.
Right? Everybody's like watching, and then you're like, can I see?
Exactly.
Can I take photo?
Yeah.
I want to post on my Instagram.
Exactly. That's the best view, man. Because up close to Mount Fuji, you really can't see it, right?
Yeah.
It's nice from afar.
Yeah.
Another hint is that, so with the Shinkansen, there's also like smoking cars where you can smoke in your seat, but they just smell like horrible.
Are they still exist though?
They still exist. Yeah.
I never booked that.
We're smokers and we can't even handle that smell.
No, yeah, it's too much.
But I think every other car or something like that, there's a section where the washrooms are. There's like a smoking area
in
with
between
sliding glass doors.
In between car and car, right?
And if you booked seat A, for example, or if the seats were booked up, you can go to that smoking room, and there's like 3 windows, and you can take your photo from there.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But you still need to know like when the Mount Fuji is coming, right?
Yeah.
I think more specific information about Mount Fuji, I would say in between Tokyo to Nagoya. So like in between that, you will see, because Mount Fuji it's about like Shizuoka or Yamanashi. So that's in between Tokyo to Nagoya. And I'm from Nagoya. I know no one stopped by Nagoya. But if you have chance, please go.
What else is there to do on the train?
So I think you can buy a bento. It's called ekiben. Either you can buy at the platform, or there's the people with the card. They have bento, they have alcohol, and the soft drink, and then newspaper.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You can drink. You can drink on the Shinkansen.
Yeah. So
and the ekibens are really good.
Ekiben is super good.
There's like so many different varieties.
So many different
seasonal varieties.
Yeah. Or like when the Shinkansen stops, and then sometimes you have a chance to go to platform, because like every single province has different bento as well.
Yes.
So maybe if you check on online, then you see which bento you want to eat, then you can get off and then buy it quick.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah,
the train will leave without you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What else?
So Shinkansen, it goes from Hokkaido, which is north of Japan, through Kyushu, south of Japan. So if you have JR pass, then you have time, you definitely go through all the way Japan. And then that's really nice to have. And then the good part, because the train is very quick. So one time I was in Tokyo, and then I went to Hiroshima. It was like 6 hours, and it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Like you just sit there. Again, you can drink, you can eat, or you can even sleep You can take a rest. Then after 6 hours, you're like the other side of Japan, almost.
Yeah, the trains are quite spacious. Like, you can recline pretty far. Like, it's better than an airplane seat, like a coach
way
airplane
better.
seat. Yeah, you got more leg room, and you can recline quite far.
Yeah, and train moves so smooth.
Yeah,
like it's super fast, but you don't feel.
No,
it's almost no moving.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's very comfortable, and yeah, I think it's worth it to use.
And because it's so quick that if you were to go to Japan and you only booked your hotels in Tokyo, because it's so quick, you can afford to go to Kyoto just for a day trip.
Yeah. Then you can come back.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like you save so much time, you save so much money, then you can go see so many other stuff too. And then if you don't want to spend any money other than JR pass, you just research which JR, like local line. Then you can go for free. I mean, no free, but in the pass.
It's included in the pass.
Included. Yeah. And again, there's a bus, there's a local train. So you basically can discover all Japan.
So even if you don't have a JR pass, and you just want to buy a regular ticket, you visit the, what's it called? Midori, the green office.
Yep.
So it's at the green offices where you activate your JR pass anyway.
Yep.
But that's where you buy your tickets.
Yep.
So how about for just a local train, like even for the subway, for example? How do you buy a ticket there?
So there's a vending machine.
Yeah.
At the station. Then you can buy any type of train line. And in Tokyo, I know there's bunch of local train, public company, and so many rails goes to almost same way. So sometimes if you got lost, then you want to go this station to that station, then you ask someone. People actually telling you different way. That happened to me actually.
Just because there's so many different
lines.
Because
there's so many different way to get there. And everybody has different way. So that might confuse you more. So what's the best way? Like I didn't know this, but John got an experience. You want to talk about the press help button?
Yeah, so these ticket machines, it's against the wall, and above the ticket machines is a big map. So how you buy the ticket, you'll see the station name, and then above the station name will show the price. So on the ticket machine, all you have to do is press the price. You don't look for the station name on the ticket machine. You look for the price that you want to pay. But as Ryusuke was saying, it can get pretty confusing. But if you press the help button, you expect someone from the ticket booth behind you or somewhere in the station to come assist you. But no, on the wall where the ticket machines are, there's a door where someone will just pop their head out.
Suddenly pop up. The human pop up.
Yeah. A worker will pop their head out and ask what you need, and they'll press the button for you. They'll just like turn their neck around and press it for you. But it's not expected, right? You think it's just like a wall of computers.
Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's cool. But yeah, anyway, like don't do because you just want to see. They're busy too. So please, if you need help, and then you do it.
Also, there's at most stations, I think every station, you can there's what they call a fare adjustment machine.
Okay.
And so if you paid the wrong amount or you last minute decided you wanted to go further than what you paid for, you can always adjust your fare. So you get to your destination station and then put your ticket through the fare adjustment machine, and they'll tell you the difference that you have to pay.
Oh, cool.
Another thing that I've messed up a few times is that so it's like a little ticket, a physical paper ticket, and then you want to go through the gates. Remember to take the ticket
Right.
back from the other side.
You have to hold it until you get the last destination.
Exactly. So a couple times I put the ticket through, the doors opened, I got through the gate, but then I forgot to take the ticket from the other side. So what happens is that when you get to your station, you actually have to pay like the maximum amount.
Has that happened to you?
Yeah, that's happened.
Did you explain?
Yeah, I guess I tried to, but that's the penalty. Like you pay the more expensive.
Right. That's
price.
very important.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
take your ticket.
Take your ticket. Also, I know nowadays, the local line, a lot of Japanese people have the app, or I'll say some like a card.
Yeah, a card.
So like they just go through. Like
Yes.
they have
just
like
beep.
a pass,
Yeah.
and then they top up all the money. So what they do is like with the phone, beep, and then just go through. So
Yeah, it's like Google Pay or Apple Pay.
Exactly. But like Japanese version.
Yeah, and you can use that pass to pay for like food, any of the stores within the station, even outside of the station, like convenience stores. I'm sure.
Yeah.
They
You can use
I think it's called Suica.
Suica. What I know is Suica, Nanako,
Yeah,
and I don't know.
Ioka or something like that. IC. I think.
I forgot. But yeah, when I went back to Japan, my dad actually borrowed me the card, and it was so easy too. So you might want to buy that card and then just top up whatever. So it easier for you, right? Because like if you know how to use it, the train line. So like what you do is like beep, then you just go.
There's also something in Japan. I think it's more for Japanese people. Maybe like foreigners don't know too much about it, but it's like stores that sell tickets, but it's not official tickets. Like not from you're not buying it from Shinkansen. You're buying it from these ticket sellers.
Ticket center.
Ticket center, right?
It's always cheaper.
Yeah, it's always cheaper. Do you know why it's cheaper? It's not like scalpers. They're not like...
They're not scamming or nothing, but they, for example, I think somebody bought the ticket, but they can go, or they have season pass, and then somehow the schedule is changed, so they don't need it, so they go there, and then they get cash back, and then those third party ticket center, they sell you a little bit cheaper than the regular price, and then it's worth it.
You can buy tickets, any type of tickets, concert tickets, any shows, Universal Studios. And then normally a little bit cheaper. And then normally those stores are like close to station anyway. So if you walk around and then if you see like ticket center, I don't know if it says in English. I don't think so. It's for Japanese people.
But it's kind of obviously.
Yeah.
Like you see they have like a glass table kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Show window.
Yeah.
And then they have a bunch of different tickets.
Yeah.
So, that's good to know too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about the rules of taking trains in Japan?
Yeah.
Or any public transit?
For Shinkansen or some train, you go far. Then if they sell bento or any food, beverages, and then you're allowed to eat.
Yes.
But local public trains, normally you shouldn't eat, you shouldn't drink. It's not good.
Yeah, bad manners.
Bad manners.
Yeah.
People gonna watch you.
Yeah.
Also, no phone. No talking on the phone.
Yeah, no talking. You can use the phone, but no talking on the phone.
No talking.
No, and turn the ringer off.
It's
so
manner mode.
It's such a big thing where in Japan, if you buy a Japanese phone, a phone over there, instead of like just like silent, vibrate, and ringer, they have manner mode.
Yeah.
And I guess that just shuts off all sounds.
Yeah. I don't know for iPhone or the Samsung, whatever. Maybe they just have
No, I think
silent.
if you buy the phone there, there is manner mode. I think they change it. Just like with the shutter sound of a camera, like Japanese phones, you can't turn the picture, the shutter sound off. So I think phones in Japan, through the government, they changed certain modes.
Wow, cool. I didn't know.
Well, that's how seriously they take it, right?
Yeah.
No talking on the phone.
Yeah. So seriously, like if you hop into a train, you don't talk with your friend, or like you can listen music.
Yeah. When I first moved there, I was like 21, and I was taking a bus to work, and I was talking on the phone with my
In a
friend.
bus?
Yeah, on the bus. And then I wasn't being super loud, I was being quiet. An old Japanese guy came up from behind me and like slapped my head, and I was like startled, and then he yelled at me for using my phone. I was like, oh fuck, yeah, that's right.
So you say sorry?
Yeah, I can't use the phone. Yeah, exactly. So that's how I learned my lesson. Getting slapped by an old Japanese guy.
Exactly. So, like some old Japanese people, they don't care.
No.
If you break the law,
Yeah.
then they're gonna teach you.
Exactly. The whole culture, they look up to their elders, right? So
Of course, yeah.
So that's what it is. And as well as in Japan, I'm not sure Shinkansen, but definitely like the regular trains, there are certain cars that are for women only.
Yeah.
The Shinkansen doesn't have it, right?
No.
Yeah.
Local.
Yeah,
some
local
some
trains.
local. Yeah.
So there's designated cars that are for women only, I guess.
Why?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of
Criminal.
sexual assault or like unwanted attention. And so it's like a safer car for them.
Yeah.
But I remembered when I think I was in Osaka or something, and my friend and I were trying to catch a train. We were just running down the stairs trying to catch the train, and we just ran into the first open door.
Oh, and then
The train closed, and then we just noticed, like, why is it all pink? Why are all the advertisements like...
So even color is different inside.
I think just from the advertisements.
Okay.
They're selling like feminine products. And then we looked around, it's like all ladies, and they're just staring at us like, oops, okay, sorry. And then
what'd you do?
we just... Because
you can still...
in the trains in Japan, you can walk through to the other car in the train, right? So, just...
Wow. Yeah, so in Japan, it's actually... In a train, there's a lot of sexual assault. Like if you have Japanese women friends, ask them.
Yeah.
Normally, 99% that happen once in a lifetime.
Unfortunately. And that's why in Japan, their phones, in the
when
the
you
camera,
do mana mode.
Yeah, even if you're in manner mode or silent, if you take a photo, it will still make the shutter sound. Yeah.
Why? Because of some guys love
some dirtbags, scumbags try to take photos of girls,
or
especially under the skirt.
Under the skirt. Yeah. And it's really a big thing.
We don't want to scare you women like to go there, but it is a thing you should be aware of.
Yeah. But also for the men as well. I know a lot of guys, they didn't do anything, but somehow because of maybe the train was like too packed.
Okay.
And then you don't even touch, but the lady thought you touch.
Oh,
and then once ladies say like, you touch me.
Yeah.
And then the guys getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Like there's a even movie. I forgot the name.
Okay.
But this guy didn't do anything, but because of this lady call him, he did it. It's called chikan, by the way, in Japanese. And then the train, the worker, they catch him, and then police came, and then police basically telling him like, you better say you did it, because now it's really scary for men. That's the way. There's a law. You can't really say no. Once somebody say
accused
like
you of
so like police keep telling him like you should say yes, and then maybe you might go jail, but you might go get fined, but it's easier.
Okay, wow.
But again, if you didn't do, why you have to say yes, right?
Exactly.
So the movie was like basically about this guy fighting against the law and then police because they're pushing him, forced him to say, I did it.
Okay, wow.
But so a lot of guys, what they do, they put both hands up when you take in train. So that's the way your hand is up, right? So that's the proof. You didn't do anything.
Okay, wow.
So it's kind of scary. Then you should have your mind like that. Because, again, you never know.
Yeah.
Especially if you're just visiting there and then you got this problem, you lose all your time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's not often it happens. Mostly it's the woman is right.
Yeah.
That's also why this is like more protecting women. Yeah. But yeah, just be careful.
Yeah, we'll save some of these topics for another podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things women should be aware of while living in Japan. Like, for example, just touch on it, is like it's common for women who live alone to buy men's clothing and
to hang
it outside on their balcony to dry, just to show people, potential stalkers, that
I'm living with guy.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but it's a thing in Japan.
Yeah. Let's talk about this with another topics.
Yeah.
Back to trains. I'll say everything on time.
Yeah. It's
in a minute.
Yeah.
On time.
Even if they're 30 seconds late, they apologize.
Exactly. So
another funny thing is that if the trains are delayed, they also tell you the reason, right?
Exactly.
So
why or how or how long.
Exactly. But even like if it's a suicide, it's really common, right? People jump in front of trains. And what do they say? They don't say suicide, but they say how can I explain? Basically, they said that there was some incident. Yeah, a human incident or something like that. But you know that.
You know, exactly.
Yeah.
And somehow they clean so quick.
Oh, man.
They have to, right?
Yeah.
Japanese culture, it's very lean on train.
Yeah, they rely on trains.
Sorry.
Without trains, there's no business being done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's also why every train has schedule every minute. Yeah. Even Shinkansen. So there's no way if you reserve your Shinkansen, don't expect, it's okay, 5 minutes before. For sure, they're not going to go in 5 minutes. No, they actually go.
Yeah.
So
we should also mention that the train systems are not 24 hours.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think the last train, depending what type of train or where you are at, but around midnight, 1 o'clock?
Around midnight, yes.
And then the first train's about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock?
5, 6, yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. But that's the way you can make schedule easily, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely plan it.
Yeah, where you get from here to there. Then after that, how long does it take to change your train or whatever? Everything you can calculate.
Yeah.
So to me, it's very good system. Not like other country, like here in Canada.
Yeah.
If you want to take local TTC, you
Subway,
never know.
Yeah. You never know. There's always delays.
Yeah, and buses come in sometimes, like 3 buses come in same time, and then you wait 45 minutes after.
Yeah.
So, but Japan, never.
Just the whole culture is on time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, if you're lazy about time, you might pay off. Right?
All right. So, I think that's it for today's podcast.
Yeah, I hope you guys get good tip about train system today.
Yeah, and especially if you're a train spotter, or in Japan they call them
Densha otaku.
Densha otakus, train nerds.
Yeah.
It's definitely a country you want to visit. Trains are super cool there.
Yep. And for sure you're going to use it at least once.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So cool. Thank you for listening to
Thank you so much for listening. Yeah.
And we're trying to launch this podcast, so we would really appreciate all your help. Please subscribe, follow, and download our podcasts wherever you find your podcasts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.